Good morning. Today is Friday, April 21st, 2023. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Darien Board of Education Policy Subcommittee. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be on May 19th, 2023. This morning we have an agenda consisting of 8 modified and 1 new policy which have been proposed. I'm going to turn it over to Marge to talk a little bit about some of these changes. Again, this is the first time we'll be looking at these policies.
Okay, great. So policy number 2700 regarding retention of electronic records. We've been doing this anyway, but it puts all users of our computer systems on notice that we'll be retaining any communications. Policy 3125 purchasing is revised to reflect the procurement of property and services under a federal award. The yellow highlighted language is the new required language about consulting with the town, and that's why I highlighted it, because that's really one of the few new things in the policy. And then when we last considered this policy, Mr. Brown actually asked if we should include the requirements of CFR 200.317, et cetera, and Shipman and Goodwin has now done that in the appendix. The school activity fund policy 3150 is a very technical change. It adds and or to the list of requirements. Non-discrimination. Our old policy was out of date and again used terms like affirmative action, which have a legal meaning in a way that doesn't line up with that legal meaning. So this is Shipman and Goodwin's model policy. 4118, the policy regarding prohibition of sex discrimination and sexual harassment, it now lines up with the same policy in both, in the student section. So it includes veterans, not the requirement not to discriminate against groups such as veterans, gender identity, sexual orientation. It also adds forms and timelines at the end. The policy 4025, the reports of suspected abuse or neglect, it includes licensed behavior therapists as mandated reporters. There have been many new requirements as far as training, electronic filing, distribution requirements, et cetera. Those are all now included in the policy. 4050, reports of suspected abuse or neglect of adults. This is stylistic, but the legal references have also been updated. Policy 4075, alcohol, tobacco, and drug-free workplace. It bans the use of palliative marijuana on school property, and it now updates the definition of vapor products, which are also banned. And finally, policy 4450, section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. I know we always say that Shipman and Goodwin says that we don't need policies when there's a law, but we are required to notify people how and where they can file complaints under that act.
Thank you very much, Marge. Appreciate that explanation. Anyone have any comments or questions on any materials that are here today?
I don't.
All right, so I guess I would suggest we take these and send them up to the full board for review unless there's objection or support. Seems to be unanimous with the members present. All members.
All good.
Thank you very much. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll move these up to the full board for the next meeting, and we'll reach out to have that scheduled as appropriate. Any other business for this meeting?
I just have a quick question about the instructional policy that we discussed at our last meeting.
Correct.
Where do we stand with that and what's going on with that?
So we did take a look at that, and we're reviewing some of the other laws and statutes or policies that exist from other districts. We expanded that to look a little more broadly, both outside of Connecticut. And then what needs to happen is to take that, do a reconciliation against Connecticut, what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, and come back with that. That is taking longer than expected. And hopefully we'll have something for the May 19th meeting to discuss.
Sorry.
Of course, please.
For the committee to review and discuss, because we haven't seen any of that.
No,
stuff, right? Okay.
there's nothing to see yet, but hopefully, yes, we'll have time for the committee for that time.
Okay.
Julie's got another question.
I had a question for Marge, if I may. Just at status on where we are in this review of our policies and where we're trying to get to, and maybe we want to think about mapping out how to get there a little bit so that we can hold ourselves accountable to a pace.
Right. So We are mostly done with the 1,000s, 2,000s, 3,000s, 5,000s, and 6,000s. There are a couple of policies in the 5, which is students, and the 6, which is instruction, that need a broader review by our administrators, and it's going to take some time. So our target is to have them review it over the summer when things calm down a little bit. So we need to work our way through personnel, which shouldn't be very controversial because most of those policies are just legally mandated. And then the 9,000, which are the board. So, I look to guidance from you. We could just try to sort of bang out the 4,000s, which are just legal updates next, to just keep us moving at a quick pace. But I don't know if that's what you want to do.
From my opinion, if things are easy to do and stylistic and, have to be done and they're quick, then let's do them, let's get them done. I don't see a reason to keep up with that. That's my opinion.
No, I agree. That makes sense. Let's, get the low hanging fruit out of the way. It's quick.
So we have been moving through that part. The first meeting we had, we looked over the review policy where we are with the audit, and these are continuing to bang through these. So with your understanding, and we'll continue to bang through them and run through them and bring them through. And there's any other ones that anybody wants to bring, we can get that.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Marge.
Can I add one more question
Please.
or comment? I don't know. I know there's a lot of work that goes on before this gets to us. So the fact that we're having a 7-minute meeting doesn't necessarily represent how much work goes into preparing for this meeting. But with that said, I don't know if there's an opportunity to do more in our next meeting, if that makes sense. And I just throw it out there for anyone's opinions on that.
It's up to what's on March.
No, it's not.
Well, we can run through policy numbers, that they're in the audit.
Yeah.
With the scope that we can sometimes turn around through the attorneys and so on and so forth. So it'll be probably limited by that. If the board doesn't want to take on other ones or discuss other ones, it'll just be limited by that. But other than that, I think Marjorie would just go ahead and proceed.
No, I think when we get to the 9,000, we'll see a little different cadence and involvement. I don't think those will be 7-minute meetings. So it's nice when we can get these in, but I think it depends on the subject matter. And, as Marge mentioned, some of this is fairly dry and it's updating legal language. So there's just not going to be very much input for us here. But it is good that we have the opportunity to review and discuss if there are any questions. And hopefully everyone can take a read of the full board and everyone here. And if there are any issues, we can present those, but hopefully we can resolve these quickly. Awesome. And with that, is there any public comment? Anyone present in the room have any public comment? I see none, and I will turn it over to online momentarily.
Thank you. If anyone online would like to participate in public comment, please use the raised hand option. There are no raised hands.
With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So move Sarah Parent, second Julie Best.